Hi everyone, today we are gonna look at one of the most common questions for interviews. It's called longest substring without repeating characters. Let's read description. We are given a string and we need to find, as I said, longest substring, but there shouldn't be a repeating characters. For example, if we see here this input, the longest substring is 3 because longest substring in this string is ABC because there is no repeating characters. Or maybe there is also, like, there is cab, this is also one of the longest substrings, or BCA. This all three are longest substrings and the size is 3. That's why the output is 3. And the technique we are going to use to solve this problem is called sliding window. And that means that, like, we will use 2 pointers. One we will call, for example, left pointer, and one we will call right pointer. And the idea is that we will move left pointer and also right pointer to the right side depending on one condition. Is the current character is repeating character or not? So let's look at this example ABC. So we can check exactly the same test case, ABC, ABC, BB. So at the start of the iteration, left pointer will point to the index 0 and right pointer will point to the index B. So this is the sliding window technique. So what we will do with this technique? We will go through each character and we will also store longest substring and also current substring. So the idea is this: we will have max length variable which will store max length of the substring that we have seen so far, and also we will store current length. And the reason to store these two values is that we might encounter repeating character. For example, let's say we go one by one. We see this one, we check this one, we check this one, and then we check this one, and we see that we have A. So that's why we cannot say that the substring's length is 4. In this case, if we consider it as a substring, we shouldn't count this A because this A is the same as this one. So that's why the condition is that it should be without repeating character. So that's why we need to somehow store also the current length. And one more important variable that we will use is array that we will call scene, and it will have the size 128. Why 128? Because that is the size of array that we can use to store all this, like letters, digits, and also symbols, and also like a space character and etc. For example, we will store it in our scene array, and when we come to this A, we will check that array. We will check it every time, of course, but for this A we will check once again to see if it exists in the array, and we will see that okay, we have seen this one. So how we are gonna use this array? If you haven't seen this technique, I will explain you. And you know that every character has ASCII values, right? And the ASCII value for A is 97. When we encounter character A, we will store the index of character to the index 97. So whatever ASCII value of A is, like in this case it is 97, and what is this index of A at the moment? It is 0, so we will store 0 in that array. And when we come to this second A, we will have a way to know that if we have encountered with A before and where we have encountered with A before. So when we initialize this array, at first we will store -1 in each cell, so we will know that that character, for example, hasn't been encountered yet. So when we encounter, we will update it with the proper index. So I will clear our whiteboard a bit. Okay, let's start with this one. And at the start, our scene array, all 128 cells will have the value of -1. I will write this string again here. So left pointer will be here and right pointer will be here at the start. So when we start with left and right pointer, for example here with P and the W, we will update our scene array with proper values, and in this case it will be scene. We will use character P as index, will be equal to 0 because that's where we saw P, and for W it will be index 1. So when we come to the third character, which means like we encounter W again, we will check, have we encountered with W before? We will use scene array to check that, and we will check it, and we will try to read the value of index W, and we will see that yes, we have encountered, and where we have encountered the array index is 1. So we will know that, okay, that is the place where we will move the left counter. So we will remove the left counter from PW. The way is that we will move left pointer one index after the character that we have already seen. So that means that we checked our scene array and we saw that, okay, on index 1 we have already seen one character of W. We will move left pointer one index after that repetition. And the question is that what is, because you remember that we have also like a current length, right? What is the current length of substring without repetition? It is 1 at this point. And what is the maximum length of the substring without repetition? It is 2, right? So we have at this point 2 as maximum length and current length is 1. So that's why we will only take maximum length at this point, and we will say that, okay, maximum length is untouched because still the current length is not greater than maximum length. So now let's remove some of these circles. So what is the current length? Current length will be 1 plus, right? Every time we will increment it. Current length is now 2 and maximum length is also 2, right? So that's clear. And now we will not update maximum length because anyway it is 2. Let's move it one more index to the right because we are inside the iteration. And now what is the maximum length? And every time, of course, we always check scene array and we see that, okay, we haven't encountered with E. So that's why we say that current length is incremented by 1 again. So the current length is 3 and max length was 2. So that's why we will update max length to 3. So max length will be equal to 3 at this point. And now we will again move this pointer to the last index of the string, last character of the string. And at this point, we will check index of scene array with W character. We will see that we have already encountered with it, and we will see that, okay, at which index we have encountered with, and we will find it. Then we will update the left pointer to one index after that repetition. So it will be here. And what is the current length now at the moment? It is 3. So that means that, and max length also was 3. So we will not update it. So that is the whole idea. Now let's start to look at the code. So the first step is maybe to take care of the edge case. And usually with this kind of substring questions, one of the edge cases is the string can be empty. And if it is empty, the longest substring will be, of course, 0. And now the second step is we will use this length of the string, and then we will try to write for loop here, but let's wait with for loop for now. So we said that we will need an array. And what else we need? We need max length and current length and left pointer. We can call it left p, so we know that's left pointer. And now we can start in for loop. We can also use I index, but we can maybe use right pointer index so it will be clear for everyone. We will start from index 1. So let's say we are checking this string. At index 0, anyway, the longest substring is 1 because there is no repetition. So right pointer will be starting from B. It will go until length and it will be incremented always by 1. And also we shouldn't forget about to fill this scene array with -1. And one more thing that we shouldn't forget is, because we start from index 1, we should already put the first index character at the first index, that means index 0, to the scene arrays. For example, let's say in this case, we already discussed it on whiteboard, so it will be like this: scene A is equal to 0. Now we can continue. We will say that if the character at right pointer has been encountered, that means that if it is not equal to -1, and that index, because we said that this will give us index of the encountered character, if that index is greater than left pointer. And that means that if that encountered character, if it is before left pointer, we don't care about that because it's not inside our sliding window. So our sliding window is like this. And if the encountered character is before the left pointer, we don't care about that. If it is after left pointer, that means that it will be between left and right pointer. That is the only case that we will consider this as repetition. And we will write two conditions here. One thing is that we already discussed, left pointer will be updated one index after that encountered character's index. So that means it will be +1. And second thing is that we said that max length will be updated to the maximum of either max length or right pointer minus left pointer. At this point we see that okay, we don't need actually current length. We can use this difference as a current length. So because we have two pointers, we don't need to keep the track of current lengths in the different separate variable. Perfect. If this character, current character that we are checking, hasn't been met, that condition will be handled here. And that's actually very easy. Again, we will do something similar. And now it will be right pointer minus left pointer +1. And the logic behind this +1 is that we said that instead of the current length, to keep track of the current length in different variable, we can use this difference between right pointer and left pointer. And we also said that current length every time will be updated, incremented by 1. So that is why we are using this one. That's it. The only thing left is every time when we encounter this character, no matter which condition is met, we will always update our scene array to keep track of encountered characters. And as a last point, we will return our max length. And hopefully we don't have any syntax error or something that we have missed. But let's try and see if it will pass the test cases. Okay, we have some syntax error. Okay, because we were using right p, not pointer. We can update this. I think we can rerun. Okay, one of the scenarios failed, and let's try to see why it failed. And the reason is that we said that we are starting right pointer from index 1, but we don't consider index 0, because we said that index 0, whatever we have here, a, is already substring without repetition, and length is not 0 but 1. So that's why we got this issue, and now everything will be, or probably everything will pass. Perfect. And now let's submit and see if we have missed any edge cases. Perfect. It's actually 3 milliseconds and it beats 91% of the solutions. So that was it for today, guys, and I hope you liked it. If you wanna support me making these videos for you, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. And you can also write your suggestions, your opinions or questions on the comment section below, and see you in the next video. Take care.